Alrighty, folks, let's do some coding again. So last time we explored the Unowatch a little bit to see how it will actually work, and I've been continuing the work since then, and I found some limitations, some opportunities. So I found out that the Unowatch is actually supported by Gadget Bridge, or there's a pull request for Gadget Bridge, or maybe it's merged already, which means that this Bluetooth connection is open. And yep, I found the specs and able to connect directly without using the official app, which is pretty cool. It gives much more opportunities to change things that I think are big limitations for me for using. I'm still using it mostly for trail running, so I'm trying to focus on building the trail running stuff. But yeah, I thought I'd first show a little bit what I've been up to, and then we can dive into improving the things I've been working on. If you hear strange sounds behind, that's my dog, the French bulldog who's snoring. So so yeah, for those who might not know the Unowatch, let me first do a super quick recap of what it is. It's a kind of it's a watch that is built to be repairable. Like I like to compare it into Fairphone, which is actually my phone. It is, of course, comes with limitations. It's relatively cheap. You can buy it a couple of £100. So it's not really a super high-end watch. But yeah, like the promise is that you can repair it yourself. And like you see on my watch, there's literally screws I can just open. I can take this off the display. Change ports, things like that break, assuming that the company is able to deliver them to me. The company is based in the UK, in Scotland, which is very cool, European. I doubt that the watch is built in Europe, but that's kind of irrelevant in my opinion. The cool stuff is for sure is the sustainable approach. However, like I said, it comes with sacrifices. One big sacrifice is that it's not waterproof for swimming. So it's splash proof, so you don't need to take it off when it's raining when you're running. But yeah, you can't go swimming with it. To me, that's of course a big. I need a swimming watch as well, but that's fine. It is a sports watch. It's not a smartwatch for your phone company, and so it's not Pixel Watch or Apple Watch competition. It's more competitor for Coros or Garmin and so on. But we again remember it's a cheap watch from a small company, so naturally we are making some compromises. At the moment, what I'd say, it's kind of an MVP state in my opinion. There's a lot of software that needs to be built, but that's fine. So okay, let me give it a quick overview of what it is. So it has a MIPS display, unlike my Garmin, which has an LCD. One of the good features is the USB port to the side, so I can just plug in a USB cable to charge it, as well as connect it to my computer. It just connects as a drive, and all the apps are installed as just files on the file system. I actually bought a third-party like a plug to cover the USB port. Unfortunately, this one is a bit crap. It's not tight enough, so it doesn't really hold. But it's more just I don't want dust to get in there. Although they said that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, that's it. The watch is super snappy. It works super well. What do you have there? You have just different training profiles and so on, and you can just start running and it will start tracking. So I've been doing tests with running compared to my Garmin watches, which is really reliable. I have Garmin in one hand and the Unawatch in one hand, and the GPS data, heart rate data, all is super accurate. So I have no problem with that. So I'd say what they've done as a company, they've done it the right way. So a lot of features are missing, but everything that is there is quite good. So I wish it would be suitable for swimming, but fine. But other stuff was a little bit there's not a lot of profiles and so on. But anyways, I'm quite happy with it. One thing I wasn't happy with is the companion app, the limitations of the companion app. Let me actually show the app. So I have my phone, my Fairphone, connected to the thing. Let me just find the actual the official app. I can then show what I've done. So this is the official app of the watch. It does all the basic things that things do that normally apps do for sports. So it tracks things. But the limitation comes from the fact that you can't really do much with your activities. You can track them and you can share them only to Strava. You can't even get the fit file out of it, even though the phone, the watch produces fit files. The fit files natively. Yeah, it is repairable. You can see the screws here. You can open it yourself. It's very similar feeling than my Fairphone, everything else. But I haven't tried to fix it. So of course, it doesn't matter if I can disassemble it if they don't sell me a new screen. I haven't tried. It's like 1 week, less than 1 week old, so it's not broken, which is quite a good thing. Upgradable, don't know. I hope it will be. So with my exploration, I found one thing that it looks like it doesn't have is a compass or magnetometer. So you can't tell the direction you're traveling, which is super important if you use it as a trail running watch. So building a navigation on it, kind of possible, but might be quite tricky to get it super useful. But otherwise, yeah, maybe it's possible to upgrade it, or maybe it's there, but it's not exposed in the APIs, or maybe Claude didn't find it. So yeah, so that's a guess on my side. But the cool thing what it is they talk about it being for community and open, and it truly is. So I have access to all of the sensors directly from my software, so I can do anything their first-party applications can do, and that's a cool thing. So what I've actually done is I've written my own companion app to it. So this app connects to the watch directly. It doesn't go through the what they have. They doesn't go through the official app. This app doesn't know anything about the official app. It just goes directly over Bluetooth to the watch, and it has access to everything. Actually, in my opinion, has access to too many things. This is a little bit unconfirmed, but it looks like the Bluetooth connection can actually brick the watch. So it looks like I can override some of the operating system stuff with the Bluetooth connection. And I don't think that should be the case. Not that, not people can't just connect directly to the Bluetooth and brick my watch, but there's bugs. Maybe somebody can go through some vulnerability and then just brick the whole thing. Now I haven't confirmed it because I don't want to try, but it looks a little bit like that's the case. But the cool thing is that on top of that one, I can then do anything I want in the software. So what I've built here is effectively a trail running profile, because the currently it doesn't support trail running, and it doesn't support sharing the fit files. So what I did, I took the hiking app that they have and copied it. It's MIT license, so it looks like they're happy for me to take the code and do it. I don't know, maybe I put it as open source anyways, it doesn't really matter. But I took the MIT code and then I did turn it into a trail running application. Well, I don't know about how it's comparable to car stuff, but yeah, I like it because they say they open and they kind of are. So I haven't run into any blockers yet. But let me show what I've done. So I took the hiking profile and I decided that I want to do things that the official app doesn't do. So I want to be able to download a fit file so I can share it to where I want to be. And to me, it is intervals at ICU. So what I do is, instead of writing one fit file, I write two fit files when the activity is over. The default fit file is going to be stolen by the official app if that opens first, so I don't want to risk it. So the way the official app does it says, if there's a new fit file, it will download it and delete it, which is the right thing to do, because otherwise the watch would be full of fit applications or fit files or activity files. But it also means that I can't take it reliably, the main file, because I don't know which app connects first. So what I do, I write another file, which is same file effectively, and I do the same with my application. So my application goes and finds just files that my activity writes and downloads them, and they're fully compatible fit files, so I can put it in intervals of ICU or share it anywhere else, which I think I want to do next. But the other thing that bugged me about the watch is that it has, when you go to, for example, running, I can't, anybody who's done Garmin knows this, but I can't change the data fields. So it has data fields here. They work fine, everything's fine, but I have different needs than somebody else. So I want to be able to adjust the data fields. And at the moment, the current firmware or the companion app doesn't let me do that. It doesn't have any settings on the watch, so I did that. So I basically looked at the configuration and I created a watch face configuration tool here. So I can now go and say which data fields I want to have, lap time, and where I want to have them, and so on. And it will then structure the UI the way I want. And here's this app shows the actual all available or exposed fields. I can adjust the fields if I want to. I can build new ones, but these are the default ones, but the SDK is providing. So this is pretty neat. There's quite a bit. So it's very kind of comparable to what Garmin has, and they can add more things there. So of course, different activities going to need different data fields. So it kind of works. The other thing that I did, so I went for a run. In the evening, and I'm old, so I kind of had trouble seeing some stuff. So what they do here, once the GPS connects, the background highlight kind of it's quite dark once the highlight is on, like this. So I literally couldn't read this in the dark. So in my trail running activity, which is called Word Match, which isn't installed. Let me install it first. Actually see how the installation works as well. So I just plug it into my computer. So what happens is it will show up as a shared drive, and I can tell Claude to install the. Actually, it is probably installed. I don't need to install it. But what I need to do is to reboot. That's the one thing that I actually installed it. So one thing is important to do this stupid ejection. Maybe it's better for on Windows. I know it's my fault that I use Windows. But yeah, what you need to do actually is when you install a new version, you have to reboot the watch, because it only reads the apps at the start. But you can see how damn quick it is. So I turn it off. Now it's off. Wait for a while, and I hold it. It's turning back on. You compare to many other watches, yeah, now it's on. Like it's super fast. Let me see if here it is. So Word Match. I will probably call it something else. I will call it trail running or something like that, but it's now using the word match. So what I did, if you remember in the previous one, the background box was solid, but in this one I just made it the frame, because this I can read, because now the contrast of the text and the highlight of which is selected is actually much higher, because there's no background color. So now I have a proper one. So here you can see that the actually if I show the right window again, so here you can see that the data fields are what I have defined here in my app. So this is the time. It's a little bit like the alignment is a bit off. I wish it would be a bit better. And then the last one is pretty cool. However, I'm inside, so I can't see use the GPS. But what I then added, because it wasn't there, so I added the climbing profile. Oh, here it is. I did the climbing profile for certain climbs. So those who don't know, I'm building a software called WordMatch, which is meant for climbing training for trail runners. But so this is another kind of feature that I did. I can't read my watch. Let me see if it can connect. Connected. It very rarely has any problems with Bluetooth. So anyways, this was the screen. But what I also did is I wanted to make sure that I can download certain areas and certain parts and climbs. This needs to be improved. But I want this climb to be sent to the watch. And then when GPS is fun, it will tell me if I'm near the bottom of the climb. There's kind of a map kind of thing in here. So I put with vectors, it takes it OpenStreetMaps. It takes kind of caches a small area of the map and pushes it here, because this watch doesn't have any map yet, which exposed the problem of the magnetometer or lack of magnetometer, so I can't do a proper navigation. But the idea is that when I approach a climb, it will tell you are 200 meters away, and here you are. And once it reaches the bottom of the climb, it changes automatically into this kind of climb profile, which is very comfortable, kind of familiar to somebody who's using Garmin as well, the Garmin Climb Pro. But I already have all the data in WordMatch. So this is using the WordMatch API to download climbs near you, and then it will send those to the watch. The watch has no internet connectivity at all, but you can just say, okay, I want this to be there, and then I just say sending, and it will send those two climbs to my watch, and once it's there, then it's a kind of offline capable navigation and training stuff. So that already works, but I'm somewhat unhappy with some of the user interfaces, and also it goes over Bluetooth LE. So yeah, sometimes it does take quite a long time to get the stuff sent. It also probably doesn't want to do it while I'm in the workout. So let me end up this. There we go. So now it's off. Send to. Okay, it's already sent to the watch. Cool. So that's it. The kind of the trail or the climb stuff isn't too bad. Well, I haven't tried to send proper rasterized maps on it. I just sent vectors. Also, the MIPS display isn't high resolution enough that I think like raster maps probably really wouldn't actually work. But it has no memory problems as such. I did run into performance issue because I was first sending the climb GPS data as just JSON, and then when I starting the application, it had to parse the JSON file, and it was noticeable lag for starting the applications. You can see the applications actually start super fast. If I press running, now the app is running already. So it's just extremely responsive and fast watch. But when I did this change of at the start I was parsing up to 20 trails or climbs, it was very noticeable that it lagged. So what I did then is I built a binary plot of the trail data on the watch and just send the binary over. I don't actually send anything on I don't send like JSON, so the watch doesn't have to parse anything. And now it's just, I can have 20 climbs, it loads them in the memory, there's no problem. So you kind of have to, it's very kind of limited device on power wise. So you need to make sure that you do all processing you can on the phone and just send ready processed stuff. And that's basically it. So that's kind of a very quick overview of what I've done. I replaced the companion app. I've created the trail running profile. I connected the word match stuff into it, so it knows where the trail running climbs are. And then I thought what I could do today, instead of sleeping, I was somewhat unhappy with the way the data screens are configured. So I this is a very clumsy way of building software or user experience. I don't like the way the interface works on the phone side. So I think I'm going to do something about that for now. But in the meanwhile, if you have any questions or anybody has any questions, just ask. I'm happy to go through the experiences that I've had. We're going to be using Claude to build everything here, really. I'm an Android developer. I could look at the code, but I haven't really. This is more like an exploration and trying to understand what the limitations of the watch are and so on. But I've been very happy with the way Claude has been processing the code so far. So let's try to maybe do this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's fire it up again. There we go. So I think I want to try with the screen directly. I don't want to have like two representation of the same thing. Actually, three. So currently the same state is repeated 3 times. It's really annoying. You have the list of things where it shows which ones are in here, and then you have the ordering thing, and then you have the actual view. Garmin is super annoying where you have to first select how many fields you want to have and so on. But maybe we can try that. Yeah, I could. For now, I just want to get it into state where the interaction with configuration of the fields and stuff like that are something I actually want to use, because I want to get the watch in the state where I want to use it. I'm going to be wearing 2 watches. People look at me strange because I have watch in both wrists, but who cares, I guess. I'd say that we're going to somehow make the watch itself editable, because I don't like these kind of things. These are, especially, at least I could make these draggable, but man, it's a bit painful. This whole setup is super painful, and also I don't see any previews. I want to see the preview of each one of these. I don't know what this looks like and how it gets. I also think the heart rate needs to be at the top, otherwise it doesn't work. So if I put heart rate at the bottom, because it has this heart rate, yeah, already losing. There's this heart rate thing. Oh no, it doesn't work. It has this kind of heart rate swatch what it shows, but I don't really know how to add that. Maybe I just ignore that for now. Yeah, we need to find a better user interface here. Also, this text, what the hell is this text? It doesn't need it, isn't needed. Okay. All right. That's one thing. I hate UI that shows information that is not relevant for the time, so we can get rid of that already. I'd say what we're gonna do, maybe we don't go to the editing directly on the watch yet. If it really is that there can only be 3, so why don't we just have 3 spots all the time, and some of them are empty. No, 3 slots. Okay, we get rid of the arrows if we just track them around. That's a kind of natural way of doing this. It probably picks up the pattern, right? Yeah, I think the drag and drop only at the top part. I kind of debating with myself, should we have just, hey, add new one and then show a list of things? I think that would be the best thing to do. Just do it as two steps. Because if we remove the whole long list at the bottom and just have 3 slots where you can pick new ones, and if you have this kind of view that which ones you want, then we can show the preview, because the preview is actually written in Kotlin, so it can show it wherever it wants. It's a kind of approximation how it actually looks like. It's not really the watch code, because the watch isn't Android, so you can't use that. Yeah. Okay, let's start with this one. Oh yeah. Search could be good. The list isn't super long yet, but let's forget this one. Let's just auto it. YOLO mode. Let's hope it doesn't break anything. So yeah, let's figure out how it looks like with the previews. But yeah, like filtering list would be good. Sometimes you just, I want to have a HR or heart rate, or I want to have pace, and what pace fields you have. That's what Garmin has so many fields. I always like get lost which pace field I want to have where, and so on. So let's get it going. It also, we need to kind of figure out how because this nearest climb thing is kind of full screen thing. So it actually shouldn't be here. It should be more on the add a new screen. But when you add a new screen, it just makes an empty one. Not sure. Also, it's annoying. It resets the scroll. That's my pet peeve of when you go back and the scroll is reset. I hate that. I just need to add it. I'm also debating if I should have the status screen always there. It isn't actually technically required. is this screen that it's this one here. You start running. There's always this field at the end that shows the status of the GPS and the battery and the time. It isn't actually technically required. Maybe we can remove it and let user decide if they want it. So I kind of would like to ask the guys from Una, what does this mean in here? It reminded me. If you go to the official application, you go to the watch, the GPS access synchronized. 7 days remaining. What happens after 7 days? GPS stops working, or what it is about? It's super confusing, this thing. I don't get it. Oh yeah, I also got, while we're waiting for this one to happen. So it looks like they are currently preparing new version. Let me see how I can solve this. I got an email from Una. They are proud of the fact that they kind of let people work together. So they have this roadmap on their website, which is cool, but I've submitted a couple of things, but they don't want to. They're just under moderation, so they haven't added them. So they say, hey, look, we are building this feature that everybody asked for, which is stopwatch. Cool. Yeah, it's of course watch stopwatch there is pretty cool. Walking activity mode is coming. So they implemented stuff that people were voting on their website, and 1.4 is coming, which I do really like. It's good to see that they are building stuff, but at the same time, if you go to the roadmap at the bottom of the page, go to the roadmap, there are things, but if I go with the stuff I've sent week ago, everything is still blocked under moderation, but it's fine. They are middle of launch, so I understand what it is. But here you can actually see what they are working on, which is cool. Maps and navigation. I don't know how they're gonna do this. I really don't know how they're gonna do this. If it doesn't have a compass, I don't think it's doable. Or maybe it is. Yeah, maybe I don't know enough about the GPS stuff. I don't really understand what the connection session means. I never, no other device I really had to care about it. I understand they need to have some technical stuff there, but why is it user facing is confusing to me. My Garmin doesn't ask it, but Garmin is of course Garmin. Yeah, maybe they want to be open. Maybe they just want to make sure that everybody has the information. But yeah, sometimes it's better not show stuff to users if the users don't need to know about it. That's my philosophy about it. Cool. It's working with the slots. don't know what to do with streams in streams when Claude is doing stuff. Probably play some game or something. Normally, when I'm working with Claude, I have 2 or 3 projects I'm working at the same time, so I don't have empty time. But I think it's not really good for stream to to work on multiple projects at the same time. Yeah, this is open source community has a strange approach sometimes where they think they are helping, but they're helping a very small number of people, which is just, they just they want everything to be configurable, and they want everything to be, available to everybody and so on. So I think sometimes the decision is then making just, life easy for 5% of the people, and 95% is super confusing. But yeah, it's their decision. Otherwise, like I had to say that the user experience has been very good in the official app. It's not built by the there was agency, don't remember who it was, but they had it on their website as a case study. They built it for them, which I do like. Just isn't, they focus on the stuff they're good at, which is figuring out sustainable stuff. But so this was built by some other agency, but the onboarding stuff just had missing things like autofill didn't work. So I had to copy paste my phone number, which is used to create your account, and so on. And also, you can't connect to your watch unless you create a Juhani account with the official application, which is a strange decision to make, in my opinion, for kind of community open company. I think because there's, like we see with the company and app I built, there's no technical reason. There's nothing preventing from just connecting and without an account. I wish they would make the Juhani account creation optional. I think it would make sense. Let me use the dead air to show something cool that has happened with the Verge match. This is the software I've been building for my trail running. Basically the climb database and training database. So it allows you to analyze your training and understands, especially from the climbing perspective. If you go and climb a mountain, it gives you a little bit more information of what kind of climbs are where. You have this kind of climb information database as well, where you can go and take a look what it is that you did climb, but you can also, of course, analyze your training, your upcoming race, and you can take a look at this. I have no upcoming races anymore this year, so I don't have any to show. But the cool thing that I did this week was that I was able to find good sources for France and Norway for data. So it means that France is now quite well covered with the database of climbs. So of course places where there's hills, but this is super cool. I'm quite happy to have these things now available. So France and Norway, and Norway also, well, kind of obviously Norway has a lot of good places to climb. So we can take a look. But yeah, France and Norway added like 14,000 climbs to the database, and they all come from the National Trail database. Because I'm very concerned about adding climbs that are not high quality. I don't want people to have go and find a climb and then they go and can't actually climb it and run into a fence or something, or it's not accessible or dangerous, something like that. But that's pretty cool. Like so France and Norway is now covered really well. Next up, I'm currently processing a new dataset I found for England and Wales. Scotland doesn't have a good one, and Scotland needs a good one because there's a lot of nice places in Scotland to climb. I've heard. I've never been to Scotland, but I definitely need to go. That's also where the Una watch is from. Maybe those guys can help. I don't think it's the same actually account. I'm logged in the Una account, but it's not the same as far as I know. I think it was separate. Like I think they use some other software, something else. Let me some lag. So I think this is some other piece of software they're using that probably has their own account management. Blah blah. Roadmap. I don't know who's maintaining this. So I'm logged in here, but I don't think this is the same. This is not the Una profile. So yeah. All posts. Yep. It's like a ticketing system. It's like a Trello. Oh, let's have a dark mode. Cool. Claude is still working. Gave it quite a few tasks, so maybe it takes a bit longer. Oh yeah, one thing I wish they would adjust or change in the watch as well. There's no way to adjust the screen light. Like if you're out in the dark, firstly, I haven't figured out if it has a lift to light up at all. Like sometimes it lights up, but sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know if it does have it or not. The problem is that if I'm in an activity, if I'm in a running activity, this button no longer turns on the light. It's a lap button. So how do I turn on the light in this screen? I can go up, down, where I've started. But this is just a lap button. This stops whatever. So I wish there would be like a lift gesture, but yeah, that's it. So I as an old person, I struggle to see the display sometimes. You compare to, it's a bit unfair comparison, but if you compare to the Garmin, which is the same size device, it's just so much more readable. But of course, this was €1,000 new, and this is €200 new. So, is it a fair comparison? No. But they need to, because they have very limited display. They really need to make it as easy as possible to see. Somebody like me, I see it when I have my reading glasses on, but I'm almost 50. I can't see the blurry text in dark anymore. It needs to be either the backlight needs to be a bit brighter. That would help me, or something else to fix it. I'm looking at my notes of figuring out what are different things. Last stream, Hugo was looking at the app. It's a bit strange because the app requires Google services. I realized that they show Google Maps on the screen, but they even have like ads and stuff like that in the APK, which I wish they wouldn't have. All right, we have a new version deployed. Claude is still checking, but I think we can try it already. Yeah, well, this is much better. How does it look like it's difficult when Claude is trying to use my phone at the same time. So let's leave it to finish. I'm on the max, whatever, 100 euros a month. That's basically is required. The other plan was too small. This one I haven't run out of. I ran out of tokens when I was using Fable really heavily because I did some UI design work, and I'd like to use Fable and Claude Design for that. And Fable eats tokens really quickly. So that was the only time I really ran out of tokens. Without using Fable heavily, I don't run out of tokens nowadays. And check what is. And I code, or I work on about 3 projects at the same time most of my day. Let me see what it says now. Radar is tanking my thing. Yeah, I'm on the max 5. But it's about 100 euros. But yeah, it seems to be, I'm fine. So my weekly usage is about 70%, as long as they don't change it. Actually, I don't know what that is. I've taken this kind of approach to LLM. So I've been very LLM skeptic for a long time, about until half a year ago, where I think the Gemini 3 something rather came out, which was the first model that really worked for coding. And every day, ever since, I've been using them. But my approach to be really kind of, I don't want to try to optimize my workflows too much, or I don't want to spend too much time of figuring out what is the right tooling. I take the one that works. I don't pay Gemini license at the moment, or tokens at the moment at all. I had Gemini and Claude at some point, but it's I understand. I kind of appreciate people who have the kind of capability of figuring out optimizing how to use the different tools. We have a couple of people in the company who's much smarter than I am. I want to just focus on getting the UI done and the stuff done. But yeah, I think I need to look a little bit more smarter use of tokens and so on. But for now, it's been working well. Yeah, there's so much to learn. If I could just spend the whole day trying to figure out what is the latest thing to do, and they're probably quite cool. I can't quite like when people have good ideas how to build some good stuff. But yeah, I'm too old for it, maybe. All right, but this screen is starting to look way better already. This is the clutter is gone. I'm not sure if we need the kind of the two separate screens. Are they the previews in the watch and in the list? But it's kind of doubled the time and pace. The preview is kind of doubled. But I think it's not a huge problem. But this is way better already. I'll wait Claude to finish it, and then because it's still tweaking something. But yeah, this is also it's much easier to browse visually, to have some kind of visual previews. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of I basically now on this screen, there's the same thing is replicated twice. One of them is how it looks like, another one is how it's structured. And having the double structure kind of makes sense. At the moment, Snap Technology, our company, is building internal stuff only. So I'm not in a client project. I use everything. Everything I built with LLMs. I've been writing code for 35 years. I've been software engineer for 25 years. But about 4 years ago, I stopped writing code because I had to start writing more spreadsheets because I'm running 3 or 4 companies. Fortunately, I got to go back to coding because of LLMs. I just, as an Android developer, you kind of you drop out of what is the modern way of coding in 2 months. So LLMs enabled me to get back to writing software, and I kind of find my level of knowledge of Android and in general software engineering being quite helpful in there to be able to produce code that I'm quite comfortable putting production. So word match is fully created with LLMs, and it's been live quite a long time, and it's working well. There's bugs, but I fix bugs anyway. So I'd say I haven't created client code because I haven't been on a client project, but I created a lot of code that is in production. But none of them is like critical stuff. We work with things like banks, and if I would go back to work for BMW, it would have to be a little bit different approach. What I see the LLMs are powerful in is figuring out how the UI should work. So we approach it. Basically, what I want to do on a client work is to use LLMs very heavily at the very beginning of the projects to really understand what should be built. Effectively, we call it the seed framework. I don't want to make this a marketing stream because it's going to sound like that if I go too much into detail. But the idea basically is that the first couple of weeks you build a prototype that is much more than prototypes used to be. It's more like this stuff that I have now here on the Unowatch. This has taken me 3 days or so. So you build the software that is real data and real business logic, and everything is real, and you kind of understand what do you need to build. And LLMs are so damn good at it because you can just take shortcuts in places where you don't have to worry about it. So if you don't need to have it like your real user accounts, for example, to be have cloud sync data. You can ignore that part, but you can give the client running software, because humans are really good at telling what they don't want, but they're really bad at telling what they want. So we all know the story where you go like ask, hey, here specify the software, and then you write it, and then the client CEO comes and like, not this. Basically, that's what I want to do. So I want to solve that part with LLMs. And once we agree what we're going to be building, then how it's going to be built is a different story. And then it's going to be a different people. We have people who are pretty damn good at controlling these tools, and then people who are pretty damn good at writing software in a traditional way. So then it depends. If it's a banking application, maybe don't wipe code it. So that's my approach here. I don't want to talk more about it because it's gonna start sounding like I'm trying to sell something. All right, now Claude said it's ready. Did it ask some questions? Cool. Okay, let us just dive in and see how it works. Cool. All right. If I create a new screen, if I was a new user, new screen, nothing there. Okay, well now we don't have to have this explanation. You only can have 3 fields because you can't add more than 3. Yeah, I think you're right. We need to add a search screen. This is too long. While it's better than it was before, I want to be able to just okay, I want to heart rate. I need to have that. Numbers are examples. Again, you don't need to tell me that they are examples. I know they're examples. Okay, let's add speed. But this is wrong. Average pace, lab pace. Oh, pace. There we go. Cool. Now we have a pace. What happens if I order it now? I can't order it. Smart. What if I add to a 3rd field instead of 2nd field? Lab. Good. Can't break it yet. And what if I add the same thing twice? It doesn't let me add it twice. Fair enough. Swap switch slot 2. Yeah, it changes. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Claude was smarter than I. Good. So basically, you can go and I want to add something where it's already in there. If I say I want to have a pace here, then it will just swap the slots around. Nice. I think that's good. All right. I'm happy with this. I think it's starting to be past 11 and it's my sleeping time. Kids are already in the bed, it sounds like. So I think I'm going to wrap this up here. And thanks, folks, for joining. Thank you for asking questions. It was much nicer to talk instead of just being solo. I'll probably gonna do this a few more times this week because I want to get the watch into state where it's kind of is functioning for me, and I just want to keep using it for my trail runs. But that's about it. Thanks everybody. Thanks folks. Thanks for joining, and see you again next time. Ciao folks.